In Chapter 19 of To Kill a Mockingbird, Tom Robinson takes the stand to testify in his own defense. His testimony directly contradicts Mayla Ewell's accusations, and Atticus Finch skillfully presents evidence that highlights Tom's honesty while exposing the Ewell's lies. However, despite the logical weaknesses in the prosecution's case, the deep-seated racial prejudice of the courtroom remains an overwhelming obstacle. Tom begins his testimony by explaining that he often helped Mayla with small chores because he felt sorry for her difficult life. He states that on the day in question, Mayla asked him to fix a door, but when he entered the house, he found that nothing was actually broken. Then, she suddenly hugged and kissed him, catching him off guard. Tom insists that he never touched Mayla inappropriately and that he tried to leave immediately. However, before he could escape, Bob Ewell appeared at the window, saw them together, and began yelling at Mayla. Tom panicked and ran away, knowing that as a black man, any situation involving a white woman would put him in danger, regardless of the truth. Atticus takes care to emphasize Tom's physical disability. His left arm is completely useless due to an accident involving a cotton gin when he was younger. Given that Mayla's injuries were primarily on the right side of her face, this further discredits the claim that Tom attacked her. Atticus also highlights Tom's consistent and respectful demeanor, showing that he has nothing to hide and that he is not the kind of man capable of committing the crime he is accused of. During cross-examination, Mr. Gilmer, the prosecutor, takes a much harsher and more demeaning tone with Tom than he did with the white witnesses. He repeatedly tries to make Tom appear guilty simply by virtue of being black. The most significant moment comes when Tom states that he felt sorry for Mayla, as she was clearly lonely and struggling. This statement shocks the courtroom, as it is considered socially unacceptable for a black man to express pity for a white woman. It implies a sense of superiority, which goes against the town's rigid racial hierarchy. Mr. Gilmer seizes on this moment, aggressively suggesting that Tom sees himself as better than Mayla, subtly playing into the jury's racial prejudices. Tom becomes increasingly nervous under the pressure, despite maintaining his innocence. The prosecutor paints his act of kindness as something sinister, reinforcing the racial biases of the jury rather than addressing the facts of the case. By the end of the chapter, it is clear that, despite the strength of Tom's testimony and the weaknesses in the Ewell's accusations, the racial prejudices of the town make it nearly impossible for him to receive a fair trial. Scout and Dill, who are watching from the balcony, become deeply unsettled by the way Mr. Gilmer speaks to Tom. Dill, in particular, becomes so upset by the prosecutor's treatment of Tom that he starts crying, unable to comprehend the cruelty of what he has just witnessed. The chapter ends with Dill needing to step outside, setting up a conversation about injustice that will follow in the next chapter.